Hello, future millionaire. This is my second video of the day. The first one was simply just to give you a head up about what's going on in the market. Now this is the proper video just for you and me. So if you watched the first one thinking that was a joke, it's actually not really a joke. I'm just trying to tell people that everything that's going on in the market is highly manipulated. Just be aware of those manipulations. People spreading information like I throw chips into the water to get the fish to eat. And the same thing happens with what we do in Bitcoin Cash. Now, back to what you should be doing. And unfortunately, I have not set up the paywall yet. I have not set up the proper supplier for the trades. Therefore, I personally have not started the trade. In secret, however, the people I'm working with in Singapore, they have already started the trade. So I can only tell you this. Anytime a big investor enter a market and their purpose is to go long, what do you think what they're going to do first? I really want you to think carefully about this question. It's not a stupid question. It's not a random question. I really want you to think like you run, let's say, imagine you are a family office. You run $300 million and you want to put $30 million into a crypto that is small, that is illiquid. And any amount of money you put into that crypto, the price is going to go insane. So what would you do to get the most out of the money? Just remember what you want. Your purpose is accumulate as much Bitcoin Cash as you can. So if you have a big firing power, you want to accumulate as much Bitcoin Cash as you can. What are you going to do? I really want you to ask yourself this question. Once you figure out what you will be doing, then you can imagine those people who actually have those money are not stupid. Their purpose is to make the most out of this situation for themselves. They're not here to bail any traders out. They're not here to make me look good. What happens with my YouTube channel, it doesn't concern them. They couldn't care less about it. They also don't care what I say on YouTube, whether it become true or not true. They couldn't care less if the end of the year is $5,000 or not. None of that matters to them. For them, it's this that matters. Is fundamentally they understand why they invest in Bitcoin Cash. Fundamentally, they know why we are at an early stage of a gigantic bull market in all crypto's asset prices. So crypto is something that is not going to go away. And the only question is, what is the best approach for big investors to get into crypto? Because it's unbelievably difficult actually for most medium-sized investors, anywhere between $30 to $100 million. For those people, it is actually incredibly difficult to get into crypto market. It's really, really hard. It is really, really hard. Just remember that. So I want you to understand that this is something that is incredibly difficult to do. Just keep that in mind. I really want you to keep that in mind. So now, after you have thought through about those people who run $100 million and they want to put the money into Bitcoin Cash, what is the smartest way to do? Once you came to that conclusion, maybe then you will understand what's going on in the market. Just remember, no one, not you, not me, not a big investor, not a small investor, not a single person in the world who is participating in the market, any market, is doing it to make other people rich. This is a game. This is a bloody game. This is a blood sport game. Anybody who's making money from one thing, someone else is losing money in the process. So who is losing? Let me tell you who is losing right now. The people who over leverage on one side of the trade is losing right now. Those people who are getting a margin call are losing right now. The people who overextended themselves in one direction or another direction is losing right now. Volatility is increasing and nobody is anticipating this unless you watch my channel and you think through the process and you're in close contact with me. Other than that, it's very hard for you to figure out what's going to happen next. Now, the key here is you don't need to figure out what happens next. what you need to figure out is what happens next with your own personal future. As long as you can figure that one out, what happens to your personal future, you will have no problem figuring out how to achieve your personal future. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a very good example. I made an Instagram video just now for a friend in Melbourne, because ultimately I want this friend in Melbourne to move. I really want the person to move. I want this person to forever give up their Melbourne business and restart their business here on the Gold Coast, or do something entirely different with their life. Because ultimately, if you stay in Melbourne, it's a dead end. Whether you own a business or you own a property there or something else, that's a dead end. Gold Coast is the future, and if you are interested in the future, you should come here, live your life here. If you have another 60, 70, 80 years left in your lifespan, you should spend your time here instead of in Melbourne. This is my sincere opinion. So I made that video for this person, and any other people who live in Melbourne who is interested in moving over, there are plenty of opportunities here. Now, in combination with the location move, there's also a fundamental change the way how we move our assets. Going forward, more and more assets will be virtual. So you see the first trend, NFTs, cryptos, metaverse, and all the stuff. And talking about metaverse, seriously, anyone, do you know when I started looking into virtual reality? As early as 2014. As early as 2014, I was already investigating fully into virtual reality. One of my investment into virtual reality was actually buying Sony shares. Back then, Sony was valued so low that the insurance arm of Sony was worth more than the company that it's trading for. So basically, I was able to get a movie business, the PlayStation business, and every other business Sony has for free. Only thing I had to pay for is the Japanese insurance company part of Sony. That's how cheap it was. I think it was $16 or something like that, $15-16. And the last person I met in Singapore before I left there, he was the person who traded silver and gold with me for almost 10 years. And he's a pilot. If he's still watching me, maybe he knows who I'm talking about. Hello, Mr. Pilot, if you're watching me. And my last parting word to him, and we met in Suntec City. Because I have a perfect visual memory, I know exactly which cafe we sat down, how you walked in your shirt, in your shorts, in your slippers. That's 2014, man. So, Mr. Pilot, you walk in, we had a half an hour discussion, and at the end, Mr. Pilot, I told you that you should sell everything, buy Sony shares. That's what I told you. That back then, Sony was trading at $14 to $16 per share. I said, this is my last parting gift for you, and we will not see each other again for a very long time. And since then, we have never met each other again, even though he was a close friend of mine. This is the unfortunate part when you time travel. When you know the future, you tell people the reality, and people don't believe you. Sometimes I call it the Cassandra's curse, because sometimes the future is not brilliant. And here's the part where I want to tell everyone that as a Sigma male, my obligation is to be true to myself, true to the universe, and true to you. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. Therefore, if you don't like reality, you're on the wrong channel. On this channel, you only receive reality as they come. Let me tell you this. If you have any real estate exposure, get out of them. You're not going to do well. In the short term, anything is possible. In the long term, real estate is a dead asset, because people will be more mobile than ever before. The demand for real estate will be less and less in the ownership, more and more on the short-term usage. The long-term trend, everybody, I tell you, in the future, it is entirely possible majority of the real estate will not be owned by any individual person. I suspect majority of real estate will be owned by banks and institutions that use a low-yield strategy to grow the asset base. But for fast growth, real estate is the wrong asset class to be in. The correct asset class in the next 10 years to be in is virtual asset class, like cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin Cash. To a certain extent, some of the NFTs are not too bad. But if you really want solid access to the future, I highly recommend you to convert all your loose assets you can, turn them into Bitcoin Cash, and join the ecosystem. Become a promoter, become a champion of the cause. Because when you are entering the Bitcoin Cash space, not only you are part of the ecosystem, buying and selling Bitcoin Cash, more importantly, you are distributing unconditional love to the rest of the world. This is what Bitcoin Cash is all about. And when you spread out enough unconditional love, the universe will love you back in a way that you wouldn't imagine how this is done. Therefore, your reward comes in more than just in monetary term. You are gonna make friends, unexpected friends that you don't expect to ever to come across. And personally, I couldn't give you any more example than what's been documented on my YouTube channel. Therefore, I want you to understand that this is more than just a monetary journey. This is, of all things, a personal journey. And this personal journey, only you can take it on. All right? So keep that in mind, converting more and more your assets into Bitcoin Cash, and join the greatest wealth transfer of all time. That's much I can say. And once you've done enough of that, you can, on a weekday, can come to the beach and have a virtually empty beach in front of you and talk to people like me. And we go for coffee and enjoy our company. That is the true quality of life. All right. See you in the next one. Bye.